Good morning. So glad you're here. Welcome to Unity in Lynnwood's morning silent meditation time. We love and appreciate your presence this morning, whether in person or virtually. I invite you to prepare for meditation, however you're comfortable. Gently close your eyes. Begin to breathe in and out, gently and fully. With each breath, give thanks for this continuous flow of life. Feel your shoulders relax. Your jaw loosen to be present with the living presence of God that you are. During this sacred Advent season of hope and faith and love, we prepare for a greater awareness of the Christ presence within and our true divine nature. A friend, Reverend Therese, says, hope is helping other possibilities emerge. Helping other possibilities emerge. By being present and listening to our sacred self, we move from hope to faith, trusting and knowing God's good. I invite you to listen to your sacred self in the silence and know, listen, listen, listen. This Advent season, I renew my faith. I am the living power of faith in this world. I believe, I trust, I look for the good, and give thanks. Breathe a little deeper, maybe move your feet. I send that good out in the form of love and blessings to all who serve this morning, to all who will enter this sanctuary today and all that are coming in the future, all who join us through the magic of electronics. We stand in faith together for a higher good, for our community and our world. And we give thanks. And so it is. And when you're ready, open your eyes and be fully present.
At this table, everyone is welcome. At this table, everyone is seen. At this table, everybody matters. No one falls between. At this table, you can say whatever. At this table, you can speak your mind. At this table, everything's forgiven. There's enough for everyone. So come as you are. Remember that the door is always open. Yes, come as you are. The perfect gift that you can bring is your heart. So come as you are. At this table, there will be no judgment. At this table, mercy has a seat. At this table, we're all sons and daughters. There's no place I'd rather be. So come as you are. Remember that the door is always open. Yes, come as you are. The perfect gift that you can bring is your heart. So come as you are.
For a moment now as we begin, please try gently riding the cycle of your own in-breath and out-breath, closing your outer eyes if that's comfortable for you. I welcome this catch of the breath and relaxing that make it possible to be present right now in body, mind, and spirit. Enveloped. Please cozy in with us this morning, wherever you are. Feel the warmth of others gathered in spirit for common purpose. We come to celebrate the unity and the mystery and the interdependence of all life. We celebrate the magic that makes this particular gathering possible. People near, right here, and people so far, on the other side of our country, sometimes on the other side of the globe. Why, 20 years ago, we would not have imagined it possible. We have indeed grown our spiritual home. We celebrate that. I celebrate life today by making myself available as one of life's creative agents. In the darker days, both literal and symbolic, I strive to bring light and understanding. When the way is unclear, I call on a genuine curiosity and wonder. Wherever I find myself, I ask for courage, strength, and patience to meet life, remaining watchful for the very highest good for all concerned. As I renew my energies and refocus my vision, I recommit to serving life. I am grateful for the chance to bring my light, my energies, and an open heart into the service of an evolving humanity. I am grateful for my companions and partners as we together brighten the world a bit with our love. And so it is.
So come as you are. Remember that the door is always open. Yes, come as you are. The perfect gift that you can bring is your heart. So come. This table, everyone is welcome. At this table, everybody cares. At this table, everybody matters. So come, pull up a chair. Morning, Unity in Lynnwood. It's great to see you all. We're small but mighty. If you'll join me in welcoming our youth. You are the light, you are the light, you are the light in this world. You are the light, you are the light, you are the light in this world. Let it shine, let it shine. Let it shine so bright. Let it shine, let it shine, let it shine so bright.
Good morning.
Good morning.
Happy first week in December. So Youth and Family, next week on Saturday night at 6:30 p.m., we are having a Christmas celebration for Youth and Family. So all ages are welcome and their families too. It's going to be super fun. We have games planned and treats and lots of fun. So, and then because we have a bunch of students who are also in a musical next weekend, we are doing a second holiday party during Sunday service the following week. So 2 choices, come to one, come to both, have some fun with us. So and the next week is our last week of collecting socks for the Unikid Sock Project. And all of the brand new socks that you donate for any age, any size socks will go to families in crisis this year. And the Unikids are super excited. I think we're about halfway to their goal. So their goal is 400 pairs of socks, and we're about halfway there. So I think that's it. If you would please rise and join me in blessing our youth. You are the light in this world. Let it shine so bright.
And as our youth exit, please greet one another. We are the light. We are the light. We are the light in this world. We are the light. We are the light. We are the light in this world. Let it shine. Let it shine. Let it shine so bright. Let it shine. Let it shine. Let it shine so bright. We are the light, we are the light, we are the light in this world. We are the light, we are the light, we are the light in this world. Let it shine, let it shine, let it shine so bright. Let it shine, let it shine, let it shine so bright.
Oh, welcome to Unity in Lynnwood this morning. So nice to see the ones that have braved the weather. I'm just happy to see you here this morning. Your presence is always a gift to us. Now, some of those who join us virtually may not know, but in the Northwest, we've had a few weather disruptions in the last month or so. I hope none of you have had serious issues during this time, but I also kind of hope that maybe you've experienced that gratitude bump that we get when we get knocked out of our normal day-to-day. And I can tell you, it doesn't take me 24 hours without electricity before I just think it is magic to be able to flip a switch and have light. So, when I'm in this kind of gratitude bordering on awe, it's very easy to identify a few things that I value most about Unity in Lynnwood. We mention such things now and then so that people who might be new to us or relatively new to us get a few additional clues about who we are. I'm grateful to have a spiritual family that has a foundation in respect and dignity of all people. We welcome people from all walks of life and all lifestyles. We are inclusive. Our teachings say there is a divine spark of divinity in each one of us, and we believe it. We don't ask you to prove it. Perhaps this is a reason why many see Unity in Lynnwood as a safe place. You can leave questions like, will I measure up, at the door, because you already do. What we try hard to do is extend love and caring as generously as we are able. That may be where the feeling of spiritual home comes from, that sense of belonging and connection. It is our intention that it work that way here for you. We encourage the sharing of one's gifts here, and we try to help interested people find a way to contribute to the largest effort, to the larger effort. And I want to point out, there have been a lot of Christmas elves at work since we've gathered here together last. And their work is mighty fine. By offering gifts of service, many enjoy being a part of something larger and knowing they do, in fact, make a positive difference in the world. These are just a few things you may experience at Unity in Lynnwood. So again, thanks for being here. We hope that you can stick around a while after service. You'll hear more about what's happening right after service across the hall a little later.
And it's my honor to introduce our musical guest today. It's been a dickens of a time to get her here. We had a pandemic, and then we had a windstorm, and then almost we had a snowstorm that was going to keep her from coming, but she's here. Will you please welcome Unity in Lynnwood favorite, Levon Hardison.
It really is lovely to see your faces. Someday at Christmas, men won't be boys, playing with bombs like kids play with toys. One warm December, our hearts will see a world where all are free. Someday at Christmas, there'll be no wars when we've learned what Christmas is for. When we have found what life's really worth, then there'll be peace on earth. Someday all our dreams will come to be. Someday in a world where all are free. Maybe not in time for you and me, but someday at Christmas time. Someday at Christmas we'll see a land where no
one shining moment, one prayer away from our world today. Someday at Christmas we will not fail. Hate will be gone and love will prevail. Someday a new world we can start with hope in every heart.
With the Reverend Dr. Jennifer Lovejoy and Bev Templin on clarinet. Hey, nice job. Good morning, Unity in Lynnwood. Good morning, good morning. Thank you for acknowledging the elves who did this. My goodness, you are a wildly talented group of people. My name is Dr. Richard Loren Held. It is the honor of an incarnation to serve as the spiritual director of what I like to call an evolving, unfolding idea of oneness and possibility. You know it as Unity in Lynnwood. If you are a member of our online audience this morning, we invite you to open your social media chat window. Identify your geography, give us a name, allow us to extend a welcome to you. Next Sunday, the 11th, Remembrance Service, 12:30 p.m. or so, immediately following this service. It's been written, if you have had a loved one or a pet make their transition in the last few years, this is an opportunity to remember and honor their presence on earth, to claim the gifts they gave you, and to bless them on their continuing spiritual journey. Please bring a photograph of choice for the altar. All are welcome. This is facilitated by licensed Unity teacher and director of prayer ministries, Barbara Thorpe. If you would like to pray with someone following the conclusion of our time together today, Unity in Lynnwood proudly offers trained prayer chaplains eager to support you in this fashion. Meet with one of them in this general area that you might have a face. Please, chaplains in service today, will you wave a hand or stand? This could be a busy day for you, Barbara.
I'm ready for it.
You're ready for it. I know you are. I know you are. If you are a member of our online sanctuary today and you would like to pray with someone following the conclusion of our time together, it will be Barbara. Start the process by writing prayer@unityinlynnwood.org. Include a working telephone number and expect a call from an anonymous caller. It will be Barbara. Within a couple hours. Practical spirituality, welcoming community. That mission statement, so short in word, so deep in meaning. And so it is that every week I like to support this mission statement with one of the 6 value statements, which we developed in conversation with each other and with your board of trustees starting in late 2014. Where does the time go? Today I offer the first of 6 statements. It reads as follows. We offer a metaphysical teaching which encourages regular spiritual practice, including prayer, meditation, affirmation, denial, service, and study. Oh my goodness gracious. In-house audience, I'd like to invite you to extend an authentic welcome to members of our online audience. This morning they include Dallery and Mukilteo, Nancy Lynn, Chris Castaldi, Karen, Christine, Welaine, Cindy G, Ursula in Cocoa, Florida, Pascaline in Nairobi, Day. Oh my goodness, how blessed are we? Members of the in-house audience, will you raise your voice with me and say, we see you. We see you. We see the truth of you. We see the truth of you. We see the very light of you. We see the very light of you. And we stand with you. We stand for you. And so it is. We are so happy to have you with us, whether live or after the fact. Words of invocation, allow them to have their way with you in the manner best suited to you. Speak them aloud or whisper them or close your eyes and allow the voices of others to pray them through you, or simply read along. They read as follows: though imaged and named variously, there is a singular and eternal ground of being from which all life emanates and into which all life retreats. We choose to call this ground of being God. By extension, we come to understand that we are spiritual in nature, human in expression, and limitless in potential. We gather today to remember such truths, to celebrate our unity, and to honor all life. And if we did nothing beyond that today, our time together would have been well spent. I begin with words of gratitude. You are the highlight of my week. Yet again, as I enjoy saying, for the immense privilege of delighting in the noble depths of you, I offer thanks. For being here today, thank you, and thank you, and thank you. Now, I imagine you have heard the story before. Indulge me. When the angel said, "Oh, Mary, indeed, God gives you the good news, whose name will be Jesus, held in honor in this world and in the hereafter, and of those who are near to God. He will speak to people in the cradle and in old age, and he will be of the righteous." At which point Mary answered, "How can I have a son when no human man has touched me?" The response comes, when God decides something, he only says to it, "Be," and it is. Isn't that beautiful? And he will teach him the book and wisdom and the Torah and the gospel, and will make him a messenger to the children of Israel, saying, "I make for you out of clay the likeness of a bird, then breathe into it, and it becomes a bird by the permission of God. And I heal the blind and the leper, and I bring the dead to life by the permission of God. Indeed, God is my Lord, God is your Lord." This is the straight path. Is that not a beautiful nativity narrative? Now, as I've said so many times before, there is a universal story that was particularized by Dorothy in The Wizard of Oz. There is a universal story that was particularized by Frodo in The Lord of the Rings. That's one of my favorites right there. was particularized by Frodo in The Lord of the Rings, and there is a universal story that was particularized by Jesus of Nazareth in the nativity narratives. And while each of these universal stories was beautifully particularized by these individuals in space and time, to imagine such stories as limited to any single space and time is to relegate a present truth to a distant history. Why would we do that? For these universal stories do what all universal stories do. They call for particularization through each of us, even now. These universal stories remind us that even when we find ourselves tossed from Kansas, or facing Mount Doom, or navigating winter's dark night, there's a greater possibility within us longing for recognition, longing for release. So in turning to that nativity tableau it's been assembled on your sofa table since Halloween. I know that's true for some of you. Let's begin by considering just what it might have meant to be in a gathering of Gentiles who were called by a star to a most unlikely, even ironic event. It was Unity co-founder Charles Fillmore who said in one writing that stars are the equivalent to the psychic experience. Now, I wouldn't necessarily disagree with this. So given this, let's consider what it might have meant to be in a gathering of people who had a compelling vision, a profound knowing, if you will, about a higher way of being together. And it does seem clear to me that in rising from a people as oppressed as the first century Jews and Jewish Christians, the nativity narrative certainly represented a higher way of being together. No longer as subjects in an imperially driven world marked by power, but as equals in a divinely inspired world marked by justice. Now, if you're like me, you might be able to imagine the questions which were presented from their spouses, from their parents, their friends, maybe even their peers. So let me get this straight, you can hear. You have a vision, do you? A knowing for a higher way of being together. You have a vision, a knowing for a higher way of being together. So you're just going to take off and walk through the desert with your little friends. Can you imagine the questions? In truth, I'm willing to bet that you can. I'm willing to bet that you can, because isn't this the way of race consciousness? I'm willing to bet that you can, because I'm willing to bet that you too have had a vision, a knowing for a higher way of being. I'm willing to bet that you've had a vision for, say, a business. I'm willing to bet that you've had a knowing for a relationship. I'm willing to bet that you've caught a glimpse of that cosmic star of inspiration, if you will, representing something so counter to what those around you can see, that at least one person in your world responded by saying, so let me get this straight. What place might this tale have assumed in history if these magi, if these seers had responded by saying, wow, you know what? You are absolutely right. We really must have lost our minds there for a second. Thank you for reminding us that this idea is absolutely crazy. Clearly, this deep knowing should wait until the dishes are done. Clearly, this deep knowing should wait until the kids are grown. Clearly, this deep knowing should wait until I have all of my stuff handled. And if you take one thing from our conversation this morning, please let it be this. Do not wait until you have all of your stuff handled to show up for your life. An eternally unfolding soul will always be challenged by an ego with stuff that desperately needs to be handled. But the story didn't end there. These magi, these seers, didn't wait until the dishes were done. They didn't wait until the kids were grown. They didn't wait until they had all of their stuff handled. They followed. That's how our story unfolds. They followed. They demonstrated that divine moment of yes-ness, of obedience, of welcome, that divine moment of permission. Now see if you can relate to this. If the journey had been easy, these magi wouldn't have had to stop and ask for directions. If that star, which had first drawn them from their mundane lives, had remained visible throughout the journey, they would have walked in a straight line from what's described in the Gospel of Matthew as really nothing more than well over there somewhere, directly to the house, dropped their loot, returned home. But they didn't. We can infer at least once that they lost sight of that star. Can anybody relate to that? Because they stopped and they asked for directions. We can infer that at least once they had to reconnect to the purpose which had drawn them forth in the first place. At which point I say, well, welcome to the human experience. Welcome to the human experience. Isn't it easy for those cosmic stars of inspiration to become obscured by the clouds of our own humanity? Isn't it easy for that vision, for that knowing, to become obscured by the clouds of doubt, history, by what some proudly call evidence? So our magi stopped. They asked for directions. And what we come to understand is that the very inspiration which would call them from their mundanity, the very inspiration which they sought to foster, Herod sought to destroy. Now, the great early teacher Dr. Emily Cady, addressed this dynamic in her pinnacle text entitled Lessons in Truth. It's in the gift shop, when she wrote the following, and I do paraphrase: suppose an individual has become solidified, her word, has become solidified in wrong belief. You introduce a truth. The very newness of it creates new hope, new joy, even health. But after a little time, a sort of agitation begins to take place. One is apt to feel nervous in the depths. If he has been sick, he may begin to feel the old diseases. If she has been morally weak, old desires, old habits may take possession of her with new force. If they have been withholding denials, if they've been holding denials and affirmations about a business adventure until matters begin to improve, all at once they may collapse and seem darker and more hopeless than ever before. All the new beliefs that lifted the individual into a new world it's right on time. Barbara, please pray for a new battery. All of the beliefs that lifted the individual into a new world, they begin to appear as if they are failures. What happened, Emily Cady asks? Simply this. She answers, there has been a clash between the old condition and the new thought, the new belief. The old mortal is kicking vigorously against the truth. And so it is with our nativity tale. When the status quo is challenged by that cosmic star of inspiration, by a new vision, by a new knowing, all that represents the status quo, the Herods of consciousness, if you will, tend to rise up, as if to say, are you absolutely certain about this? Get a new idea of your value, and all that represents your old idea of value rises up as if to say, are you absolutely certain about this? Get an expanded idea of relationship, and all that represents your old idea of relationship rises up as if to say, are you absolutely certain about this? One might wonder if we, as a global community, are experiencing something of this chemicalization, something of this second force, as described by Emily Cady. I wonder if the tremendous friction apparent in modern life might be the out-picturing of an old condition kicking vigorously against a new rising consciousness. A violent thrashing seeming to rise up as if to say, are you absolutely certain about this? Now, if you're willing to entertain that, there is hope offered in the Cady text. She promises, and I quote, while the old mortal is kicking vigorously against truth, something higher and better always wins. How do you like that? Isn't that hopeful? And of course, our tale yet again could have ended at that point. I don't suppose we would blame our magi. I think history has been perfectly clear with each one of us. Herod was unpleasant. It was unpleasant. But as we know, our magi, these seers, continued to their destination. They dropped their loot, and in what I believe is one of the most easily missed moments of our tale, they return home, but not by the same paths which brought them. And this is why I say, don't wait until you get all of your stuff handled to show up for your life. Because in our tale, it was in showing up for their lives that our magi became new. And so it is that as we embark upon one of truth's holiest weeks, now I say truth's holiest weeks because universal stories cannot be claimed by any single people. You do understand that the opening nativity narrative wasn't drawn from Christian gospels, but from the Quran. As we embark upon one of truth's holiest weeks, I would invite those gathered here today, whether in our physical sanctuary or in our virtual sanctuary, to return to the beginning of our tale, not so much to that beginning which has been written, but to that beginning which is so unavoidably self-evident. For while we won't find it in the text, mustn't we infer that there would be no tale at all if our magi, if these seers of old hadn't looked up? Mustn't we infer that there would have been no star, no change, no return if our magi hadn't somehow made themselves available to that cosmic star of inspiration, to that vision, to that knowing in the first place? Take a deep breath with me then. And let us close our eyes together. Let us begin as our magi began by looking up for 3-4 minutes. Let us enter into a time some might call meditation, a time of deeper consideration, a time of reflection, a time of availability for that very highest that's within you to make itself known. As we embark upon one of truth's holiest weeks, let us lift our eyes above the conditions of life, to any cosmic star which might promise a higher way of being together. It matters not how unlikely, it matters not how ironic. Let us lift our eyes above the conditions of life to those cosmic stars which would call us forth from stuck places, from many habitual mediocrities, from those mundanities. We need neither accept nor reject. We need neither pull close or push away. Just observe, just observe. As we lift our eyes above the conditions of life to those cosmic stars, which would stand in tension with the world and its evidence. It's facts and statistics. And in any moment that we might lose sight, Let's become willing to ask each other for directions. Let's become willing to ask for a reminder of what's important. Of what's true, what's divine, what's inspired. As we lift our eyes beyond the conditions of life in one of truth's holiest weeks. Let us imagine then that we light something of an inner candle that represents that commitment, that courage, that faith of those magi, those seers of old. As we light that inner candle, we represent this. We represent this in the physical world. With the lighting of another.
There is a candle in every soul, some brightly burning, some dark and cold. There is a spirit that brings the fire, ignites a candle, run to the darkness, seek out the hopeless, confused and torn. Hold out your candle for all to see it. Take your candle and go light your world. Frustrated brother, see how he's tried to light his own candle some other way. See now your sister, she's been robbed and lied to, still holds a candle without hold out your candle. your candle and just go do it. Go light your wood.
Oh, haven't we been richly fed this morning? Thank you, everyone. Thank you, Levon, for making the trek to be with us. Oh, we love having you be with us all. And Dr. Richard, thank you. I have a week's worth of food for thought. And Jennifer and Bev, we are blessed. This time in our service we call offertory. We offer opportunities to practice giving and receiving that we might cooperate with the reciprocal nature of our spiritual universe. In other words, while your giving matters to us, we suggest that your giving matters to you as well. We think of giving as a spiritual practice. The Soul of Money is a book by Lynn Twist that was featured in a recent prosperity class here. She's not a Unity teacher, however, her spiritual depth is obvious to her readers and clearly aligns with Unity principle. Here's a quote from Lynn. No matter how much or how little money you have flowing through your life, when you direct that flow with soulful purpose, you feel wealthy. You feel vibrant in life when you use your money in a way that represents you, as an expression of who you are. When you let your money move things you care about, your life lights up. That's really what money is for. Electronic giving options do appear on the screen, your screen and the screen behind me. For those choosing to give a physical gift, you'll find a bowl in the lobby as you exit these doors. If you would like information about Unity in Lynnwood's programs of regular giving, planned giving, or legacy giving, please grab a Giver's Circle brochure back at the welcome and information table, or write Dr. Richard directly. For those already participating in Giver's Circle, we extend a special thanks. Please join me in our affirmation as it appears on the screen. I give freely, I give freely and fearlessly, fulfilling the law of giving and receiving.
Blessed always, blessed always, for the arms of God surround us. Let our joy be so triumphant that we rest in God and say amen. Will you join me? Blessed always, blessed always, for the arms of God surround us. Let our joy be so triumphant that we rest in God and say amen.
Thank you. I want to take just a minute to say a special greeting to anyone who might be with us for the first time today. And we would know that if you could just give us a quick little wave. We will not put you on the spot beyond that. I see a few waving hands. It's always a joy to have some new faces here with us. To orient all of the people new today or newish to Unity in Lynnwood, A lot of information is available back at the Welcome and Information Station, so you might stop there on your way out. We also have cards in the seat back in front of you that have quite a bit of information, and it gives you an opportunity to give us your contact information if you would like to get on a mailing list. You don't receive much mail, but it's a way that we can stay in touch with you. We welcome you to swing around the corner here as you exit and visit our Soul Greens gift and bookstore run by our beloved Marianne back in the corner. And especially at Christmas time, oh, it's an interesting place to visit. And as I get on to my, well, I'll just say it now. As part of our invitations, I wanted to point out that the Soul Greens bookstore, Soul Things gift store, is enjoying a 20% off holiday sale. So it's especially worth your stopping by. If you stop by and you are visiting new today, just say, hey, I would really like my complimentary copy of the Daily Word. It's a very small little pocket-sized daily book of inspirations that goes for 2 months at a time, and it's our pleasure to offer that to people new with us at Unity. So I have a few invitations as we wrap up. First of all, just a reminder to please register for all events by visiting the calendar page at www.unityinlynnwood.org. Please avail yourself of the offerings, all the offerings in the Soul Things gift store. Also, please avail yourself of the offerings of our small group ministry. Those are now on your screen and up here behind me. Today, I want to invite everyone to a newcomers potluck lunch. These have been a lot of fun. We've started doing this on the first Sunday of the month, and if you are new here, you're not expected to bring any food. If you've been around a while, it's nice if you have something you can bring and offer. That's how this potluck works. Everyone is invited. We hope you can stay. Dr. Richard already took my invitation for that remembrance service, but Barbara and I put our heads together. Just a moment. Next week's remembrance service, I'm going to give you an invite on Barbara's behalf to even think beyond just a pet or a person as a love thing. In the past few years, you may find in reflection there's something intangible even that you've lost. An idea, some change, major change in life. If you have anything like that may be weighing on you, come there then as well. Everyone is invited, and it's a wonderful time for incorporation and transformation. So I hope that will appeal to many folks. And lastly, I want to invite people and announce the Christmas Eve services. There will be two, one at 6 p.m. and one at 8 p.m. These are candle lighting services, and I will share this is a highlight of my Christmas season and has been since I started attending Unity in Lynnwood more than a decade ago. And I see some nodding heads, so it's a highlight for others as well. This is the culmination of our holiday services, and it offers beautiful music, carols, and personal candle lighting as we celebrate the hopeful narrative that is the Christian nativity. So I would love to see all of you there.
And we've never ticketed Christmas Eve. Seating is available on a first-come basis. Barbara, I would love it if you would pray that I get the PowerPoint right. Starting next week. Not only is Marianne the chair of the gift shop initiative, she is what I like to call our artist in residence. Last evening, I met some of the new additions to the gift shop. It's a program that she's launched called Gnome for the Holidays. Or as I prefer to call it, I'll be gnome for Christmas. Have a look. Aren't those fabulous? Oh my goodness. Linda Baven, thank you. Thank you. What a pleasure. Always a pleasure to serve, to create with you. Let us close with that same ritual with which we began. You may call it prayer, it matters not. What is it What is it in us that would see further? That becomes a prayer. What is it in us that would know a higher truth, that would entertain a more courageous faith? What is that? That becomes a prayer. It becomes a prayer. So let's close our eyes and let us give rise to that. Is there that knowing within us? Is there that star? Is there that cosmic star that would say, look up? Consider a higher truth. Is there a cosmic star that would say, look up? Consider a broader perspective. Is there a cosmic star that would say, look up? Welcome a better idea. If so, consider making that welcome. Consider making that welcome. That becomes our prayer. That becomes our elevation. That becomes the process by which we are lifted from the partialities, the apparent limitations of the physical realm into the higher truths of the spiritual self. And as we consider reopening those human eyes of ours, that we may behold the sumptuous feast that awaits, let us commit to not abandoning any higher position we might have realized, often described as something of a deep peace, something of a new faith. Let's not abandon that. Let us commit with the opening of the human eyes to bringing it forth, to living through it, to, in a sense, walking it into that potluck lunch. So let us bring this time together to a close in the way that we always do, with sung words of blessing, with sung words of farewell.
May the long time sun shine